you know what? I'll just say this. The grocery store gonna get mad at me if I complain about the carts not being returned.
Wait, what?
Like if I come on the podcast and complain about something or talk about something,
Yeah.
am I supposed to talk about no people, places, or things while I'm here?
Honey, you've got a big storm coming.
I'm obsessed with this wool cashmere blend. It's 70% wool, 30% cashmere, wool blend sweater sent to me by LilySilk. It has a gorgeous double collar, a drop shoulder design with shaping, by the way, with shaping, and it has puff sleeves, nice wide open arms, a large oversized body. It's perfectly worn with a little French tuck, you know, but you can dress it up, you can dress it down. I'm obsessed with the sweater because it is so soft. It is knit in such a nice, fine gauge, and I didn't have to make it. I didn't have to spend months and months and months knitting this beige moment that I want to wear every single day. I love knitting my own sweaters. I think you all know, most of you know, the sheer joy that knitting our own garments gives, but sometimes it's worth just buying that investment piece. Or if you know someone that has been waiting and waiting for you to knit them a quality sweater, but you know it's just not ever gonna happen, you might consider just buying that sweater. Their gift packaging is out of this world. The quality is insane. I've never received gift packaging as nice as this. And it really just makes you feel good when you open up that gift that's like really well packaged. LilySilk's one size fits most bras are for anyone size A to D. They're completely seamless and have a perfect silhouette. There's no wiring, no buckles that get in the way, and they're silk lined, so it really feels like you're wearing absolutely nothing. LilySilk.com's silk products are made with 100% pure, natural mulberry silk. The food consumed by silkworm babies comes from mulberry leaves, and as mulberry trees require far less water than cotton to grow and do not require pesticides, it helps to reduce soil pollution. In addition, silk is a natural biodegradable fiber, which decomposes in just 1 to 5 years under certain conditions. These wool trousers are 100% wool with silk lining. They're so comfortable, they're so lightweight. You can dress them up, you can dress them down. You can probably pair these pants with any type of garment in your wardrobe. And that's the thing about LilySilk. They offer clean, classic designs that you can mix and match with almost anything that you already own. It is an investment in your wardrobe. And you can save 12% off your order site-wide with the code TO12. That's TO12 to save 12% off your order. Or you can get 15% off your order of $350 or more with the code TO15. LilySilk's products are priced fairly and reasonably so that you can enjoy timeless elegance and the beauty benefits associated with silk. Live spectacularly by shopping at LilySilk.com. Hello everyone, how are you today? I hope you're having a really good day so far. If you are new here, my name's Taylor. This is Star Baby Moonchild, and we come to you from Baltimore City, Maryland. And here on my YouTube channel, I feature content that is generally focused on knitting and spinning. And in this week's episode of what I call the Threadsman podcast, we're gonna sit down. I'm gonna share with you the little progress I made on my bubble cardigan this week. I have a few skeins of yarn to show you that I plan to cast on and knit with through the end of 2023. And I've made a couple skincare purchases I'm excited to mention. I do want to give another thank you to LilySilk for sponsoring this week's video. Thank you, LilySilk, and we'll just dive in. I have a sleepy kitty on my lap today. She's so tired all the time. She's so tired all the time, so much that I will walk right up behind her and she doesn't even notice I'm around, so hopefully she's feeling good. She's acting normal, her normal sassy self. But I was sick this week. I got a stomach virus, is what my doctor told me. I did go to urgent care because I had last Sunday, I always make it a task to do something outside in the garden or around the neighborhood. Like I'll often pick up trash or whatever. And I decided I was going to clean up the back alley. The trash and recycling people, they don't close the lids. So if I don't go close the lids, it feels like no one does. And I decided I was going to dump all the water out of the recycling cans, close the lids, just make sure we weren't breeding mosquitoes or attracting rodents. And I just bagged up the most horrid, like putrid, disgusting, I don't even want to talk about it anymore, but I picked that stuff up, bagged up things that needed to be bagged again, and then I fell sick like within 10 to 12 hours. And I thought that's why I wasn't feeling well. My doctor said it probably wasn't, but I got very scared because I thought maybe I contracted some disease or whatever. But I was sick for a couple days, and so sick I couldn't sit up to knit. I just laid face down in bed or on the floor. So I did not make a ton of progress, but I did get some fair amount completed. I finished this cuff. I knit the cuff about 5 inches. I shaved an inch off from the instructions because I felt like it was long enough. And even if I fold it over, which I don't think I'm going to do, but if I wanted to, it's still a really nice length right there. So that's that. I love the way that the black really ties this entire insane color story together. And because I've mentioned this before, I want to break up the process of knitting the black 2x2 rib. I'm currently working on the bottom 2x2 hem in black while I continue to finish the second sleeve. So that way, depending on how much light I have available to me at any given moment or whatever mood I'm in, I can knit with size 3s on the 2x2 black, or if I so choose, I can make some more exciting progress on the size 4, US size 4 sleeve situation. But I think it's coming along rather nicely. I have said this before as well. I'm going to be excited when that project is over because it has been a long time coming. I think I've been knitting on the bubble cardigan for well over a year now. I haven't really kept track of when I started, but if you're curious, I'm currently drinking a diluted and room temperature cup of iced coffee that I transferred into my new Stitch Witch mug that was sent to me by a lovely viewer. And I'm so glad to have gotten this. It's so big and so nice. The handle is very sturdy. It takes my whole fist to hold it. I love the floral imprint on it, and I think it's just so gorgeous. So there is that. I'm also excited to cast on, I think I'm gonna wait until my bubble cardigan is nearly finished because I do want to guarantee that I have time to finish it before Rhinebeck, which is only, I guess, several weeks away still. So all of my time is going to be spent knitting on that, but I do want to conceptualize a new cardigan pattern. I am prone to designing raglan sleeve cardigans because it is what I love to wear the most. I have published the Kingston cardigan, which is knit with a worsted weight yarn, and I then published the Bookkeeper cardigan, which is knit in a DK weight yarn, and both feature different elements of design. One is sort of like simple cables down the seams of the raglan. The other is striped. This is a sweater quantity I have tucked over there from Brooklyn Tweed in their shelter base. This is the color Caraway. I think it might be discontinued. I'm not so sure. I picked this yarn up on sale. They were doing like a warehouse sale for all their like overstock colorways. I picked this up over a year ago now. So I have, I think, 8 skeins of this. I think these are 50-gram skeins. If you're not familiar with the feel and the handle of Brooklyn Tweed's shelter yarn, it's a very lightweight, kind of like a cloud yarn. There's very little structure to the twist. The yarn is very much held together by the nature of the fiber itself, which is super springy and very light, but it's very soft, but it has this odd toothiness to it. I think because of the way that the raw fiber was milled and prepared to be spun. It kind of feels a bit like a soft rug, but not a rug wool yarn, if that means anything. A marled yarn, you might already know, you get a very, like a composition notebook type of fabric. So I don't want to choose a design that is going to have too many elements to it. I think I prefer personally a plain stockinette fabric when knitting with a marled yarn. So that is going to be my, I think overall intention is to just knit stockinette cardigan that I want to wear all the time. But I think that I do want to knit it in the same shaping as the Kingston, because that is the one cardigan that I have really worn the most. I feel like the generous upper arm diameter and the short cropped length are really what work best for me. And I just don't know how to make it special. You know, does the world need another raglan cardigan? I don't know. Maybe I will just simply redo the Kingston, but I don't think I'm gonna do cables with the marled yarn. I don't feel like cables are gonna pop through the marledness of it all. So the question is, do I incorporate something special or just keep it the most plain cardigan you might have ever seen? I do personally prefer a 2x2 rib, so I might stick to that. I think I have to contemplate a little bit longer on how this cardigan might be different from other cardigans. Of course, when it comes to any garment, it really boils down to the fit of it all. That's a lot said about very little, just a basic idea, but I'm gonna knit this because I really want to have this in my wardrobe through the fall. So there's that. And I also have a near sweater quantity. It might be a scant sweater, closer to a shawl quantity of hand spun yarn. I have, I think, 2 other skeins of this merino thin cross fleece that I spun. So the blend of fibers is within the animal's genetics. It was from a single fleece that I spun this yarn, and I do very much want to wear this in a shawl this winter. So because I'm working with hand spun, I don't really want to be constrained by the requirements of a written pattern. I kind of want to take an inventory of how much I have about halfway and then determine the second half of the shawl design. So I'm thinking what I want to do with this sweater shawl quantity in particular is do a cast on of, what do you call that style of shawl where you kind of start at the little corner and you expand out. But I want to expand from one side at a slower rate so that it's a narrow type of triangle. And then once I reach about half of my total weight of yarn, then start to decrease on that same side so that I'm making a shawl shaped scarf that is a very simple triangle. And what I haven't decided is whether I want to keep it stockinette, which is my favorite fabric. Because I am knitting flat, maybe I would prefer a garter fabric for this design, which does eat up a lot more yarn, but might be a more ideal stitch pattern for such a long concept. You know, if I increase at a less frequent rate to keep the shawl a bit more narrow than your average shawl, it might be nice to have a stitch pattern that has a lot more rows per inch so that it kind of is proportional in a sense. Does this mean anything to you? I don't know if I'm making sense. I'm sort of just blurting out a bunch of ideas that I have, but that's the idea I have for this one. I was thinking about coming up with a very simple shawl design, something that any first time new knitter might enjoy, or something that a newer spinner might enjoy knitting with their early hand spun, because I think this is about worsted weight. I think a lot of spinners end up spinning yarn that is a lot thicker than they thought it would have been. I'm going to be alternating skeins for this as well, because I always do that now with my hand spun yarn from fleece, because I do find the variegation just looks a lot better in the finished garment when I alternate skein. That's my plan. And then the very last project I have planned for my near future is a pattern that I mentioned knitting previously in the past. I think I was doing like a favorite patterns on Ravelry type of video, and I stumbled across this shawl design. I don't know the name of it off the top of my head, but I will put it on the screen here. And I just fell in love with that shawl when I saw it. It's fingering weight, and I have all the yarn I need in my stash. I picked this up, I think if it wasn't on my honeymoon, it was the year or two following that. We go on the same trip every year to Maine, and we usually stop at the yarn shop in Bath called Halcyon Yarns. They have a ton of Harrisville Designs bases, all kinds of really lovely bases. It's a great yarn shop, and I picked this up. I was gonna knit this cat sweater I found in a vintage knitting, little thin book. I don't know, I guess it is a book, but it's one of those thin kind of magazine shaped books, but that ain't never gonna happen. So I figured I would incorporate those 3 skeins of this maize color. No, this is called mustard, which it's maybe mustard powder, but it's not, it's more of a maize. It's a bit more beige. So this is gonna be my fall color story, a far cry from the Stephen West bubble cardigan, but I think I need to make my way back towards some neutrals for a while, and that's what I'm planning to knit soon. I thought I would mention my new skincare purchases I'm excited about. There are 2 sales going on right now. One might have expired already by tomorrow, but I picked up from a website called, it's the word dermatology with all of the vowels taken out. They were doing 20% off, and I picked up a evening, I think it's mostly glycolic acid type of, it's not a serum, it's more like a moisturizer, overnight mask type of vibe. It's called their advanced retexturizer. And then I also got their microdermabrasion scrub, which I've heard has been out of stock for a while, and that was really affordable. It was only like 20 bucks for 2 ounces. And I'm hoping that that will be a nice product to use about once a month, about a week or 2 weeks out from when I do my at-home dermaplaning, which I just started doing. I feel like it has made the hugest difference in my skin and makeup application. Dermaplaning, if you're not aware, is like where you basically take a very small razor and you shave your entire face, like from forehead down to, everywhere but your brows. I'm thinking that a little microdermabrasion scrub far out from the time that I had done the dermaplaning, which in itself is an exfoliating practice. I think that'll just kind of keep everything super smooth, because I do feel like after the hairs start to grow out a little bit, my skin texture feels a little bit more coarse than I'm used to. So I'm not sure the best approach to kind of mitigate that, since I am new to dermaplaning. I've only done it twice in the last 2 or 3 months, but I have enjoyed that process. I feel like, again, it's made my skin so shiny and like so smooth. Like all of those people you see online with glass skin, I'm sure that they do dermaplaning, because otherwise they would have peach fuzzy skin like the rest of us. So I digress. I'm really excited for them to arrive. We'll see how I enjoy them. I'm gonna hold off from sharing my first impressions because I don't want to make the mistake of recommending a product I've not implemented into my routine and determined whether I like it or not. So my goal is to really just share the products with you all that I know that I really like, but at the same time I'm excited that I just got a couple things that have sort of been wanting to try, and they should arrive soon. I also wanted to mention one other purchase, because if you're interested, I want you to take advantage of it while it's available to you. None of this portion of the video is sponsored, by the way. I just really like skincare, and I really like talking about what I've been buying. And I saw through the Derm Store website, it's dermstore.com, they have a best of serum kit, and it's 6 full-size serums for essentially the price of 1. And I would typically never really buy any of them. I don't spend, cumulatively, I maybe do spend more than the average person on skincare, but I don't typically buy serums or products that exceed like $40, $50, $60. It's just not really, without knowing if I love it or not, I'm not willing to take that risk. But I decided I was going to pick up that best of serum kit and see how that goes. And it only cost, with the 25% off coupon running right now, which I think is the word cheer or something. It's on their website. You'll see it if you check it out if you're interested. But they that only came out to like $119. I also went through my credit card app. I bank with Capital One. So when I go to my Capital One app, I can go to a retailer from the app and save an additional percentage on my order. So I saved 9% that way, which brings my order closer to $100 for, it says it's valued at $815. I don't know if that's true or not. I did actually already enter each of the products that I know I'm going to use. There was a couple deluxe products or deluxe samples that I'm not even going to bother adding to my spreadsheet, but I have added all of the full size and quarter ounce and above sample products to my skincare spreadsheet I have shared in a previous video. So I will link to that spreadsheet below if you want to see what my entire inventory of skincare looks like. I've been working my way through a lot of products lately. If I don't love something, or if I'm afraid something is breaking me out, because I am acne prone, I will decide to use it on my body until it's gone. And then when I've finished any product, I kind of cross it out and move it to the bottom of the list. And I do have a column somewhere where I think it says like, would I repurchase it or not? And it's basically yes, no, or I haven't used it yet. So if you want to know what things I would buy again, they're all listed in that spreadsheet. But I really just love researching the ingredients list. I feel like I know skincare ingredients more than I ever have in my entire life. Through the website Inky Decoder, I think is what it's called. You can copy and paste any ingredients list, stick it in that website, and it'll pop up with basically a chart confirming whether any of the ingredients are comedogenic, which is a sort of non-scientific measure of whether it's acne prone or not. But it'll tell you whether it's a superstar ingredient, if it's a good ingredient, if it's an icky ingredient. And I think that is also a little up for interpretation. Some people are more sensitive to some ingredients than others. I, as I've mentioned before, am sensitive to wheat protein, which is very often found in skincare, even high-end skincare. Also colloidal oatmeal I avoid. So there are, and also like I'm a little hesitant to use anything that says coconut anywhere in the name of it, because I don't want to break out. So I'm really trying to figure out what works for me and what doesn't. And this is going to be a $100 experiment. I wonder what you have been up to this summer. I have not been up to much, as I've said this week, but I do have goals for fixing up my front steps a little bit. I've collected random plants people have given to me, and my containers have like kind of not been the most tidy this summer. So I'm thinking I'm going to head out front and just simply bring some plants over to the backyard space where they're out of sight and out of mind until the fall when I'm ready to plant them into the ground. That's what I'm planning to get into. There's not much for me to do in the backyard garden except wait for summer to end. I feel like every summer, right around this time of year, I'm always thinking about what isn't quite working out the way I thought it would and how I want to change it to make it work out the best next summer. It's about that time of year though where I think I should start my fall crops, and it would probably be best if I planted some collard green seeds, maybe peas. I think it might be time for peas, and I could probably plant a few more beans too if it's not too late to do that. My bean plants are growing, but I don't have quite as many as I usually do, so I might try to plant a few more beans in the ground before the end of this weekend. I really want to do a top to bottom washing of the house, because with 4 little indoor pets, it's a lot to maintain, and I feel like if I'm not working on it here and there constantly, it doesn't get done. I also think too, my indoor plants could use a little slow release fertilizer maybe, which I don't often do. I usually top my indoor plants off with worm castings, but I think I'm gonna go the slow release fertilizer route and see how that serves them. So I do want to service my plants and kind of work from room to room, dusting and washing and getting this place feeling ready for fall, because I'm about to bring out tub after tub of fall decor that needs a clean place to land. If you made it this far into this week's video, let me know in a comment below with the broom emoji, because we're gonna get to cleaning this house. I think there's a broom emoji. I don't even know. I just want to thank you all so much for being here. It really means a lot to me to see you all in the live chat every Sunday. I hope you all have a wonderful day. If you want to find me on social media, my name is Taylor E. Owen on Ravelry and Instagram and Threads, if you're over on Threads. I haven't threaded in like a month. So I just don't have a lot to say that I don't say here. Thanks again so much for watching. I hope you all have a wonderful day, a wonderful week, and that you take care.